All right, picture this for a second. You open your banking app on a Monday morning. 1 month, it's looking very healthy, you're feeling generous, maybe even considering upgrading your coffee order or finally replacing that laptop that sounds like it's about to take off. Fast forward a few weeks. You open the same app and suddenly you're doing mental gymnastics in the supermarket, debating whether a box of branded cereal is a reckless financial decision or if you should stick to the supermarket's own brand basic range. If that sounds familiar, welcome to the Feast or Famine Club. Freelancers, gig workers, small business owners, commission-based salespeople. If your income pattern looks more like a mystery novel than a tidy spreadsheet, this video is for you. And before you sigh and think, yep, that's just the price I pay for freedom, let me stop you right there. Because inconsistent income isn't a flaw. Handled properly, it can actually become your financial superpower. I know that sounds optimistic, maybe even a bit suspicious, but stay with me because there's one mistake most people with variable income make, and I made it myself more than once. In my early self-employed days, I had a genuinely brilliant month. Best month I'd ever had. I remember thinking, right, I've cracked it now. This is the new normal. I upgraded my life. I relaxed. I assumed the next few months would look roughly the same. They absolutely did not. What followed was a quiet period that felt far more stressful than it needed to be, purely because I'd already mentally spent money that hadn't actually arrived yet. And that was the moment it clicked for me. The problem wasn't the quiet month. The problem was how I treated the good one. This is what I call feast and forget. We celebrate the win, forget the cycle, and then wonder why we're panicking 3 weeks later. Before we go further, I want to check something. Type freelance in the comments if you've ever had a month that made you feel like a billionaire, followed immediately by a month that made you feel completely broke. It helps the algorithm find more people like us, and it lets me know I'm not shouting into the void. The hardest part of unpredictable income isn't the maths, it's the emotions. Feast months make you feel invincible. Famine months make you question every life choice you've ever made. You swing between confidence and quiet panic, sometimes in the same afternoon. And because most financial advice is built around neat, predictable monthly salaries, it can feel like you're constantly failing a system that was never designed for you. There's also this constant, low-level anxiety that no one really talks about. Even in good months, there's often a voice in the back of your mind saying, enjoy this, but don't get used to it. That emotional tension is exhausting, and it's exactly why relying on willpower or motivation never works. Here's the truth that doesn't get said often enough. Stable income is not the same thing as financial security. Plenty of people with regular paychecks are far closer to trouble than they realize. Security doesn't come from how often money arrives. It comes from how well you prepare for when it doesn't. Now, if you're thinking, that's all well and good, but I've got £0 in my account right now, hang on. Because this next part is the exact system you need to turn that around. You don't need more willpower, you need a system that flexes when your income does. The real turning point is deciding that your first financial priority isn't investing, or lifestyle upgrades, or even aggressively paying off debt. It's breathing room. I call this the calm cash buffer. An emergency fund doesn't feel exciting, it doesn't feel productive, but it changes how every quiet month feels. When people say 3 to 6 months of expenses, they don't mean your income, they mean your essentials, rent or mortgage, utilities, food, transport, minimum debt payments, the boring stuff that keeps your life running. Let's make that concrete. If your essential expenses are around £1,500 a month, then 3 months is £4,500, 6 months is £9,000. That might sound intimidating, and that reaction is completely normal. But knowing the number is powerful. You stop guessing. You stop catastrophizing. You start building. And here's the key part. You don't build this during famine. You build it during feast. When money comes in during a good period, saving happens immediately. Same day. No debate. Treat saving like a bill, non-negotiable, dull, reliable. The moment I started moving money automatically, my stress levels dropped almost overnight. But there is a hidden famine that catches almost everyone out if they aren't careful. Tax. In the UK, if you're earning a variable income, your tax bill is a moving target. The most dangerous thing you can do is look at a £5,000 payment hitting your account and think you have £5,000. You don't. A chunk of that is simply being held by you on behalf of the government. I recommend a tax waiting room account. The moment money hits your bank, 20%, or whatever your effective rate is, goes into a separate high-interest savings account. Do not look at it. Do not borrow from it for a holiday. By treating that money as if it never existed, you turn the January tax deadline from a season of terror into a simple administrative task. In fact, if you put it in a high-interest account, you actually get to keep the interest as a little bonus for your discipline. Once your tax and buffer are moving, feast months stop being dangerous and start becoming strategic. This is where income buckets come in. Every time money lands, it gets divided. One portion is for fixed bills. One portion is for your future. Savings, investments, long-term goals. And one portion is for discretionary spending, where enjoyment lives without guilt. The order matters. Bills first, future second, fun last. High-income months are opportunity windows. This is when you overpay debt. This is when you invest more, even if it's irregular. This is when you make decisions that quietly improve the months ahead. Another powerful shift is what I call the baseline salary secret. At one point, I started paying myself a baseline amount each month, almost like a salary, regardless of how much actually came in. If the business earned £5,000 one month, I still only paid myself £2,000. The excess stayed in the business account as a buffer. If the next month I only earned £1,000, I still paid myself £2,000 using the buffer from the month before. My personal finances stayed calm. My nervous system noticed the difference long before my spreadsheets did. Prepaying predictable expenses during feast periods helps as well. Annual insurance, software subscriptions, professional memberships. If you have a great month and you know your £300 car insurance is due in 3 months, pay it now. When those are handled in advance, famine months feel lighter. Now let's talk about famine months, because they will happen. Planning doesn't eliminate them, it removes the panic. Lean budgeting during quieter periods isn't about punishment, it's about clarity. Essentials stay, non-essentials pause. And using your emergency fund during a slow month isn't irresponsible. It's literally what it exists for. No guilt, no internal lectures. You planned for this moment. If you're watching this during a genuinely quiet stretch, I want to be clear with you. You're not late. You haven't messed it up. You're not behind. You're simply in one part of a cycle. Start small, stabilize essentials, buy yourself time. Then, when things pick up again, and they usually do, you build forward from there. Progress doesn't always look like growth. Sometimes it looks like steadiness. If a quieter period looks like it might last longer, there's nothing wrong with temporary income bridges, short-term freelance work, extra shifts, small projects outside your usual niche. The difference now is that you're choosing these options calmly, not scrambling out of fear. You aren't failing at your business. You are being a responsible CEO of your life. One trap many fall into is the debt pendulum. In famine months, you lean on credit cards to survive. In feast months, you use every extra penny to pay them off. Then, when the next quiet month hits, you have no savings because you paid off the debt, so you reach for the credit card again. This is a treadmill that never ends. To break it, you have to prioritize building even a small mini buffer of maybe £500 or £1,000 before you aggressively overpay the debt. It feels counterintuitive, but it's the only way to stop the cycle of borrowing. Over time, something subtle but powerful happens. You stop thinking purely month to month and start thinking year to year. Some months outperform, some underperform, but over 12 months, things average out. Your system works because it was designed for reality, not perfect consistency. I recommend a quarterly calibration. Every 3 months, sit down and look at the average. Did you earn more than you expected? Great. That goes to the future. Did you earn less? Okay, did the buffer do its job? If the answer is yes, then the system is working perfectly. There's also a quiet warning worth mentioning. Lifestyle inflation is the fastest way to turn feast months into future stress. Permanent upgrades based on temporary income feel good in the moment and hurt later. Flexibility beats flash every single time. People with variable income often develop something incredibly valuable: adaptability. You spot opportunities, you diversify naturally. Multiple income streams become proactive instead of reactive. Not more hustle, just less fragility. The biggest shift is psychological. You stop chasing certainty and start trusting yourself. You move from "what if next month is bad" to "even if it is, I know how to handle it." Long-term goals still matter when your income varies, arguably more than ever. You just plan them differently. Annual targets instead of monthly pressure. Ranges instead of rigid timelines. Direction without rigidity. And here's the part no one really tells you. Once you master this, you're often more financially secure than people with steady salaries, because you've learned how to plan ahead, adjust, and stay calm when things fluctuate. Feast or famine doesn't have to mean chaos. It can mean intention, strategy, and confidence. So here is your action plan for the next 7 days. First, calculate your essential number. What does it cost to just exist for 1 month? Second, set up that tax waiting room account today. Third, the next time a payment lands, pay your future self first, even if it's only £10. I'll leave you with this question. Think back to your last feast month. Did it quietly improve your future, or did it just make life feel nicer for a moment? Let me know in the comments. I read them all, and they helped me decide what topics to cover next. If this helped you see your income differently, subscribe for more realistic money advice for the self-employed. And if you know someone riding the feast or famine roller coaster right now, send this their way. You're not chaotic with money, you're adaptable. And once you learn how to use that properly, it becomes one of your greatest strengths.